Hey, how you doing? Welcome to Sunday session for October 16th, 2022. Last week was crazy with the CPI numbers coming out. That big recovery on Thursday and then that huge drop off again on Friday. This is how Friday close look. Apple's down -3% on the 1 day, Amazon 5% on the 1 day. So looking at the 1 week performance, we see a lot of things recovered a little bit. Netflix is up, 2%. MRK is up almost 5%. Pepsi's having an amazing year this year, up 5%. JP Morgan had earnings on Friday. They went up almost 5% as well. So things we have to look forward to is November 2nd when the interest rates come out. Earnings at the end of October, which is in 2 more weeks for tech. That's going to be a huge week. Everyone's going to be paying attention to that. But also, we're looking at the downside of the market. So whenever we see this, the 1 week performance, not as bad as it was. Here go the 1 month performance, look a lot different, worse. And here go your 3 month performance. Still hanging in there with the oil stocks and a few more other stocks. Netflix is up in the last 3 months 20%. So I was scrolling over. I'm looking at 1 year performances. I'm looking at year to date performance. I'm just trying to figure out where can I fit in some trades. How can we take advantage of this market at this time point, especially using the technicals going forward. But earnings data is huge, guys. Google October 25th, Apple October 27th, Microsoft 25th, Tesla the 19th. This is this week. Tesla's in 3 more days. That's a huge watch. It can go either big up or go big down, but we're going to talk about it today. JP Morgan just had theirs again on Friday. MasterCard coming around on 27th. I said if the banks ain't making money, nobody else is making money. JP, they actually did not make a lot of revenue this quarter, but they still moved up a little bit. So that's not, too bad. It's not super ugly. But that should be a sign of things to come. Facebook is coming around on October 26th. T-Mobile is one of the biggest gainers one of top performers of the year at 10%. They actually been performing well this year. Compared to the others, T-Mobile been, in the lead. So a lot to talk about, a lot to cover, but let's start off with SPY. Now, if you guys don't know by now, I use SPY as short-term trades, quick swing trades. I don't really use SPY as too much of a long trade no more. I just want to see what I can pick up from the short-term area. But here we are, chart for the 4-hour chart for SPY. One thing that I see with SPY is that we have a double bottom setup at 356.50, where the price has not been below 3. It has not closed on the 4-hour chart below 356.50. Yes, we did see it come down to $350. You feel what I'm saying? Yes, we seen it hit 349, but it did not close. Very important. It did not close below 356.50. That's a very important area from back where, back on the 30th of the beginning of this month. This was the same area that bounced off before it ran up 377 before. And we're back at that point again. Just had a small term bounce right here on the 14th. You can see from the 13th to the 14th, we had a move up here to the 370. And then we dropped right back down to the 356 again. So expectations for this week. I would love for SPY to break back up and again, it's a faint trend line in here. I don't know if you guys can notice it. I'll redo it real quick, but it is a trend line in here. You can see it kind of going down right here. So I'm having an expectation of another move towards that trend line. This is the time where it's getting close into that, pendants, that pendant setup. Let's scroll all the way out. Let me show you guys the visual here. Is getting close into that pendant on the 1 day on this short-term trend here, all the way from September, all the way down to about right now, where is that? So, and again, overall trend lines at the top here, you notice how it hit 1, 2, 3, broke down. Now we're hitting that bottom here, 1, 2. Hopefully we can get a push here. So this is why this trend line is going to be very, very important going into this week. What we want to see is a solid green candle close above the trend line. hopefully we all can see that. If you need me to redraw it, I'll redraw it for you. But hopefully we can see another bounce here and potentially move up into this area again, right? So that's my idea for the trend line break. Now we know if it breaks that trend line, more than likely it's going to come back down, either test here or test here, right? But ideally, I would love for it to just come up here and break all the way out and hit that 78 before it come back down again. But entry area will be 365.88. That's if we continue to break above that trend line, it'll be 365.88. And my trade will probably be a 370, same 370 or a 375 call, just to see what happens when it runs up to 372. So this is going to be a huge watch going into this week. Again, earnings is coming up in this week. Tesla's on track for earnings. We know the last week of this month, all the big tech stocks is coming out. So this can be a huge mover. We're paying attention to this SPY trade, guys. Again, let's zoom all the way out. This is the setup, is a trend line pop at this point where we're at now, moving up towards the 370 and the 378. Ideal entry is 365. Now, again, it can go back down right below this support area, miss the trend line and reverses down. My target price is still intact for 340 if we break below the 355 area on that trend. So if on a 4-hour chart or the 1-day chart, if we close below, let's go back to the 4-hour chart. If we close below this 356.50, which means any of these candles solid lands under here and closes, we may be able to start seeing them puts coming to fruition down to 339, 340, ideally. And how do I get 340? We're going to zoom all the way back in the past on the 1 week. This is the setup from way back when. I'm looking at the top of the peak, 2020. Right, so let's look at something before pandemic, and then pandemic hit it, drop off. Okay. Anybody got questions so far about that? Trying to keep it real simple today, not trying to make it so super confusing. But again, the same way last week, patience is going to be a huge thing going into this week. And then I'm gonna show you guys some retest, back testing, things that I want to show you guys real quick on SPY also. So if you got any questions, please interrupt. Now, again, let's zoom into that 15-minute chart. Of course, we're working off the big time frames, 4-hour charts, 1 week chart, 1-day chart. But when we go into the 15, again, I like to see how the 15 look. You can see the formation in the 15 at 15 time frame. We had that same support area. We broke below that support area on CPI day on Thursday, reversed right back up and ran right towards resistance. 366. My target was 368. It hit 370 on Friday. Reversed right back down to that 356. So we're right back at that point again. Again, this can be huge. I know it seemed like it's impossible because all the things that's coming up, the negative news, the recession talk, CPI is not looking amazing. Interest rates are still going up. I know, I get it. But once the earnings season is over, then we can expect a lot more downside. I think because the earnings season is coming up, we may get momentum trades and we may get pop-ups. You feel what I'm saying? So I'm preparing myself for that. But if we do come back down, watch out for that. Again, 350. The break below for confirmation, and then your target price will be that 340, then 322. Anything is possible. We don't know how the market's going to react, but we're going to definitely pay attention to it. Real quick, I want you guys to see this. This is Trading View. I'm gonna slide this over real quick. This is Trading View. This is, one of the things that I use to try to help me with my back testing. Especially when I'm trying to figure out, if my techniques are working. Real quick, not trying to hold you guys forever on this, but what I do is I kind of blindly, scroll back on the 4-hour chart, and then I'll just turn my head and I'll just pick something, right? Boom. Once I pick it, it moves, and then I'll scroll up, and this is blindly because I did turn my head and just pick that, right? So I don't know what's going on up here, right? So what we're trying to do is see if the techniques that we use are consistent, right? So, basically how the back test is, all we doing is we're letting this play out. We're noticing any type of trend, we're noticing any type of setup, and we start putting the information in. So hopefully you guys are practicing this stuff. I will want to see you guys start practicing a little bit more often, but this is basically all I do here. I'll put a trend line here. I'll eye my support, because I don't got my quadrant lines. I'm trying to get better at doing my eyeing. Let's go right here. Let's put a real horizontal line. And then I got more stuff to talk about. I just want you guys to see the back test. Support area here. Real quick, let's get that support area for the next one around here. And probably just get one more just to make sure these support areas. So basically, ideally, I want to see how these support areas play out. Also, I want to see how that trend line play out on the top, right? So we got the trend line on the top. We got support resistance, basic stuff. No moving averages, no nothing. So basically, I press play. I see how it comes down. Boom. We have a pop here. Boom. We're above trend line. Now, I know what you guys are going to say. Well, so your entry is going to be at this point. So basically what I do now, since I've seen how things reversed, broke my trend line, I'm going to put a line right there. My entry for this back test will probably be around 390.61. I don't know if it's going to hit 390.61, and I also got to put my resistance line up top. So boom, here go my resistance line, and then I let it play out. So I'm not into a trade yet. I'm gonna let it play out a little bit more. And it seems like we're going to test that top resistance. We hit resistance. Now we're breaking over resistance. Now, two things can happen here. I can either put in a trade at this top resistance. It was 397. So let's try that real quick. Let's see if it works. Because it didn't come back down to retest the 390. See, I wanted my entry to be 390. It didn't get there, right? So I'm gonna just put in right here real quick, long position from here. So that's gonna be my long position from there. My stop loss is gonna be around 394, which is that bottom support at this point. So I'm gonna let it play out, right? Now this can work, this cannot. There you go. Boom. Full breakout. So the back test worked. Simple support resistance, simple trend line break, full breakout, and my buy area was right here at 397. You guys seen where I just punched that in, and then we had a full breakout. To continue the back test, of course, you can sell that once it gets to the peak, which is look like it's peaked out at this point. So let me pause it. Real cool. It looks like breaking out again. So now I have a support, I have a resistance, and like we're breaking for a resistance again. So here go your options. And this is just a theory, right? This is just a theory. This is nothing huge. Now, I want to buy in at this point at 307. I want to do another buy. So I'm going to just, go back to my back test, long position again. I'm going to do another buy at that point. Slide that over. And then I'm going to test it again. And letting it play out. Now, the reason this is helpful to show you if your support resistance is actually working, to show you where you put your stop loss at, and to also show you and help you build confidence on how to enter a trade. So if I would have entered at two different trades, I would have had a long move from that point, from this point to almost 2% move. And in options, you guys know that can be huge. Now, since it came down and test this area right here, ideally, that'll be another good entry. But let's see how it play out. The next entry I'm going to be looking for is, and this is my last one, and I'm going to go on to something else, but I want you guys to notice why I practice this all the time to help me better my craft. My next entry is going to be there at 417, either for a put or for a call. Let's see what happens. Oh yeah, put. So we noticed that It faked out. Now we hit that line. We're not above that line. It looked like I can short at this point. I know it seems impossible because we're having a nice full momentum turn. But when I see, this is a double bottom on the short term, and this is also a multiple top, I'm going to try to short it from that point. And I'm just, testing theories. I know that 417 is resistance. We've seen it resist here, came back down. So I'm going to short it from this point down. My stop loss should be shortened. Let me see if I can get that pulled down. There you go. So my stop loss should be shortened to like right here, which is the top of the wick. And this is a tighter stop loss because the overall sentiment of this move is literally bullish. So I'm got to make my stop loss shorten because it may break out and then, continue to go up. So that means I can either stop loss here or I could buy another long position at the same point. So I'm going to add my long position where my stop loss is at, right? Let's see what happens. Let's play it out. Let's play it out. Stop loss is still there. Broke stop loss. So I should be out to play now. Because it broke. Notice how the candles broke above the stop loss. I'm already out to play. Now here go my call. Here go my call right here. If we break above that line, I will be entering a call. Simulation. This is a simulation. Bro, I'm in a call. And we popped up again. So notice what happened. I had a short-term loss here, but I also had a short-term gain at that point. And
Don't
then
work on those knees.
You guys see what just happened just then?
Don't work on those knees.
So
Get down.
I think I messed up the whole thing. I'm sorry, Miss Dance, my bad. I gotta mute. So anybody got questions on that real quick? I messed up my whole replay, but you guys understand why I do back testing. You guys seen what just happened? It was an opportunity for a call in a bullish market. I don't know what time frame that was. I don't know when it was. I just kind of clicked on it. And then I also had a short-term opportunity also. So that's how you kind of want to keep practicing those things over and over, getting used to seeing the setups, and then you'll be able to take advantage of any market, no matter what's going on. So that's why when I look at SPY, I have my trend line in there. It's the same setup. Trend line, resistance point, support. So whenever, if the market wake up on Monday and we're still at support and we don't have a big breakup, or if it don't gap up or gap down, I'm looking to enter the same 370, 365 call around 356, hopefully. I'm gonna need a confirmation though. So I'm gonna have to, go in here, add in my quadrant lines real quick because I'm gonna need a confirmation. I say confirmation area is 362. And then, that's how I usually trade when it come down to Monday. I wait for, my entry. I hop into the trade. I'll run it up to my resistance. I'll call it a day. Anybody got questions on that small example of how to back test it? Okay, for sure. I'll definitely go over them. Whenever I have an opportunity, I can go through different stocks and do the same thing. But the only thing I did was go through history. I clicked on a random spot and I just back test my theory. I paused it. When I found my support and resistance, I played and made sure how it played out. And then I, showed you how to buy in and how to enter and go for it from there. Next, okay, let's talk about the watch list. This is going to be short and sweet, guys. It's not going to be nothing huge. This is definitely going to be one of those things where it's like earnings coming up. Let's see what's on discount. Let's take advantage of it. Top 3 for me, always Amazon, Google, Facebook, for now. Those are the things that I'm going to earnings looking at. Apple, I want to talk about Apple a little bit also. So let's get straight to it. Amazon. Hopefully I got y'all pens, y'all pads too. Here go Amazon. And I'm gonna go over Tesla because we got to talk about Tesla, man. So here go Amazon. Let's go back to the 4-hour chart. We've seen a huge breakdown here in Amazon. I may have to rechart it. just because it's Yahoo Finance be messing up. Yeah, so we've seen a huge breakdown out of Amazon. We're back at the 106, but let's redo the whole thing. Let's draw it all over. 1 month chart. We starting off with the 1 month chart. You can start off with the 1 month or the 1 week. As long as you have a big time frame in there, you should be good. First thing I noticed I've ripped is old support resistance. So basically, I'm gonna set my quadrant lines back here, and you're gonna see why I'm doing this. This is making a breaking area for Amazon. So, you know, I'm gonna have this set up just in case Amazon ever breaks below 100. That means we're going to go down. Now, I mean, I think if we break 100, we may see like 68s and 70s, 84, you know, within this area, within them 3 zones. But I just wanted to show you that real quick. Let's jump into that. This still the same weekly. Let's go back to the quadrant lines. Let's set up that new setup. This is the new setup for Amazon right here. Bottom support look like it's 105. Let's call it 106. Bottom support on a one week. And resistance is 115. So that's going to be your strike price. 124, and then 134, and then the top resistance is 143. Boom, that's the 1 week setup, right? Then I go down to the 4 hour, do the same thing. I go straight from 1 week to 4 hour, set up this is your zone that you're trading off of. The same support area from July. We're back at July support area, guys. So this is very important. This is a very important area for Amazon. A target price is going to be that top resistance at 143. But if you buy a call during this time, knowing that the earnings is coming up, the strike price should be no more than 115 at this point. Until we break 115, that's going to be my strike price. That's what I'm looking forward to. If you want to do a 110, that could be ideal too. But again, RSI is super low on the 4 hour. We look like we're back at that same support area. We may have a reversal coming in. Let's set up for earnings. October 26th is earnings. And the ideal call is going to be November 11th. I mean, no, November 18th, 115 or 120 call, just to kind of, you know, keep it within that range. And then you add your trend line up top. And once you add your trend line, you know, we should have an expectation for a trend line break. It may not break it. It may break it. We don't know. But all we can do is have it there just in case we see some type of break there. Boom. That's your trend line. We're right back at support. Everything is looking just like this. Obviously, we've seen SPY. Usually SPY, you know, everything runs with SPY. So all we're doing is setting up different price ranges, different price targets. So hopefully we get a nice move within the next 2 weeks, right before earnings, back up to 115, but we are at the 106. And if we break below the 106 and that 100, we're definitely going to be dropping off. Put side, if we break below 106, yes, you can get a $100 put. Don't be afraid to do it because it haven't been below the 106 ever. I think that's been the last, you know, line of defense as far as support. But yes, most definitely you can get your $100 put, play it down to the 100, sell, and call it a day. But ideally, I want to get a bounce here because the RSI is super low. I want to get a bounce here back up to at least the 110s, 112s, where it was just sitting at. On the 5th, it ran up to 120. It hit the top of that trend line, and then we broke all the way back down to the 106 again. So now that we've seen the 106, let's see what happened in the next couple of weeks. But that'll be ideal trade as a 115 for 11.18. Next, Google. And I'm going strictly off of
hold on, Dave. You say 11.18?
11.18. Let's go look at it one more time. Let me look at the strike prices real quick. 11.18. Yes, huge volume on the 110s, huge volumes on the 115. Notice the open interest on the 110s is 58,000. Notice the open interest on the 115s is 31,000 and the 120s is 20,000 on open interest. So everybody's having the anticipation for earnings coming in right now, especially at this price range where it's sitting at. You're getting these at a discount. Let's go look at the put side. Okay, here go the puts. High volume for the $100 put, 10,000. Not as much as the calls. Calls is kind of beating up everything. I see $90 puts went up 42%, you know, on Friday, but there's 9,000 on those puts too. But it looked like 85s looking pretty healthy. Just came in on volume on Friday. They went up 38% on Friday. But overall, you notice how everybody's in calls. The open interest is extremely high for calls going into earnings season, especially at this price range. I think a lot of people having high, not even the earnings coming out to be good. What they're trying to see is the movement before earnings. That's all we're trying to see. We're not trying to see what happens the day of. If we get in it the day of at some cheap price, amazing. More power to us. But, you know, I'm just definitely paying attention to that and seeing how that go, guys. And look, the 150s, I just scrolled by. 130s, look at that 130s. I mean, people expecting it to make a move. 135s, the 140s, 34 cents. You know, they're 25,000 open interest. So people are buying up these contracts. They're not buying it for no reason. So anybody got questions on Amazon? And these aren't guarantees. These are setups. So if we don't go to our resistance or if we don't get a pop at where we're at, that doesn't mean like go, you know, just jump off the porch. Have the plan. Stick to the plan. If the plan don't work, we just ain't trading. That's why I continue to make plans. Google. And open interest is high on calls. Everybody got a lot of open interest on calls right now. Here we go. Google setup. Sort of like the same thing. Back at the $96 area. Same support area from the 28th and the beginning of October. This is how Google look. Ideal move is back up to the 100. I told you guys they're super cheap on the 110s and the 115s because I wanted to go up to 107. We had a small little pop here, back up to 101, back on the first, that was the 6th. Then we had that small little pop on Thursday, back to like 99, but it dropped back off again. So again, we're back at the same support areas on majority of all these stocks. So I don't know. I'm trying to see if we're going to go test that trend line thoroughly, which is around 102, 103. Again, just, you know, the other, hey man, I hate this dog. Yeah, I got to get off of Yahoo Finance. They killing me. So the high was about 111 back in the 13th of September. So 110 to 115 is ideal. If you get a little bit longer, you know, 120s, 125s for November, that might be okay if we have the move up to about 117 for earnings. It depends on what happens during this earnings cycle. This all come out at the end of the month. I'm hoping for the best, preparing for the worst. So again, if we see this, make a move towards the trend line, don't break the trend line. You can trade it back down to the $96 area and see how it go from there. This is Google. Let's find out who got the most open interest, more value. What is everyone buying? More than likely, it's going to be November 18th. There you go. 105s, 110s, 115s. Now, I mean, high open interest coming in. We all, I don't know what people got going. I don't know what they got going on. They got 177s. People just be buying contracts sometimes. That'd be weird. But if you're playing off support and resistance, you should be trading it towards your resistance area, which is around 107, 110, 115. Now, I mean, keeping it simple. And they're cheap. Again, they're cheap. But expectations gotta be some type of balance or something tomorrow. I don't think it's just a bullish engulfing. Let me show you why I feel like we should have a bounce tomorrow. Real quick, 4-hour chart. You know, was it on the 4-hour chart? Was the 1-day chart? Let me go find. Oh, there you go. 1 day. It's a huge bullish engulfing here. You know what I mean? I seen this candle pop up. That's cool, but this huge bullish engulfing is giving me bullish vibes. You know what I mean? So I'm hoping for the best here and having a nice little bounce. But this is a huge bullish candle. Now this could be a fake out candle. It could not be, you know, something that's going to hold up. It depends on how the support holds. Where we holding that 156. So that's why I'm saying like tomorrow we should have a nice gap up or something. I don't think we should be down for forever, especially with earnings coming around the corner. Apple. Now, Apple bottom is 130. We've seen it come down to about 129.92. This was in June. We have not touched that area yet. We've been holding and closing above 138. So that is a positive. As soon as we break below that 138, we may be able to see that 130 again. But I'm having, again, same type of situation that we was feeling, you know, back when we caught it in June. Is the same way I'm feeling this time around again. I want to be able to catch this move at least towards the 150, 157s. If we using the trend lines in this, which we all should be using a long-term trends, we see the downside that's continuing to break down to. If you zoom out here, you can also see an uptrend, right? So, you know, everything can be played either way. The ideal works either way you put it. It's just about the confirmation. That's what the trend line kind of represent is a confirmation time of, you know, breaking down to a support down furthermore. But I'm expecting everything is sitting at the bottom of the trend. I'm expecting some type of move towards the 158s, 165s. Hopefully for earnings, we get a nice move. Even though they had some bad news come out about their production of their phones, I'm praying that we get a nice move here as an investor, as a long hold shareholder. I need to see, you know, some type of momentum here. But again, ideal trade is 150 calls going towards mid-November. I wanted to see 180 when I seen it pop all the way up here. I wanted to see it break above and hold the 165, but it gave us so much downside. And until we get above 165, I don't think we're going to see that 180. But again, if we get the momentum move before earnings, and if you got a 180 or 170 going towards November, those should be able to call, you know, become green. So that's why looking at it at this point, you know, if you're in it already, averaging down will be ideal. Here are your trend line on the 1 day. We're right in between this trend line. We have to break the 1 day trend. This is the monthly trend, what you see in that top line. But this 1 day trend is something that need to be broke. And then we'll see a nice move towards 150s, 157s. So please pay attention to Apple. If Apple is your call, is your stock, you know, consistently trade Apple. Now, I mean, take advantage on the way up and the way down. So, you know, everything is setting up to be the same. Notice that it looked just like SPY. It took a fall to 134, then it recovered and peaked at 143. That's an amazing trade if you would have caught it. But we're right here. We're right here, guys. So if we're gonna go test that 140, let's see what happens. And that's pretty much it, man. I'm not trying to overload you guys. Anybody got stocks you want me to look at? Do you have anything, you know, you want to talk about as far as trading? Anybody?
Yeah, the oil stocks.
Oh, yes. I'm glad you said that. Sorry. XOM is my example that I use for trading oil stocks. If you caught it from 98 to 100, you know, that's pretty cool. But we're back at the $98 support area. We already had a double top basically at the 101.90. The peak of it was about 102.95, but we already had a double top around that area. So we should see downside coming into these next couple of weeks. We may go down to 196. 90 your entry area if you want to get in it, if it pops up from there, or if it breaks down furthermore. So if we get a put, you need to look for that break at 96 on the way down. But if you get a call, you need to wait for that confirmation of reversal at 97 after bouncing off of 96. But the oil stocks has been, you know, making a move. Look at the monthly. Gotta look at a big time frame for the monthly on this one. It's been, this is 2014. These are all-time highs from 2014. This 2008. Wasn't there a pandemic in 2008? The housing market crashed. Notice what happened to oil. 2008 all the way back down to about 2010. It was a downside. Then it popped from 2010 all the way up to 2014. And then from there, it had a whole downside from 2014 about 2020. And then here goes the recovery from off of the pandemic from 2020. It came down to as low as $34. And then it ran back up to that all-time high is about 102, which is the same area from 2014. So this can be, if we continue to move like this, we may see all-time highs coming up our oil stocks. Anybody else got questions? And the reason that this is significant, because if oil stocks has all-time highs, no reason for us to try to jump into it and chase it, especially when there's other stocks around that's at a discount. So, that's why I kind of, move away from oil a little bit. I've been talking about oil for so long, back in 2020, I was yelling out buy oil stocks because of the Democrats coming into office. So, we definitely, let's see how that goes. Anybody else got questions?
No, I'm waiting on Tesla.
Tesla, for sure. Because where Lou at when you need him. Tesla came all the way down to 200. This is also the double bottom from 2001. Use the same charting. Let's delete this. This is Tesla. Tesla got earnings this week too, guys. This may be interesting for them at this area. Now, if you want to do lotto, do a lotto on Tesla, I'll go $100 up, $100 down. I'm being honest. I'll go like $100 put, and I'll do like a $300 call. That's if you want to lotto it for earnings. You got to straddle for earnings because you really don't know what direction we're going to go. More than likely they beat it because it's Tesla. But you never know. Boom, here your Tesla set up on the 1 month. Notice that is a double bottom scenario here. This was that retest back in 2001. It came and retest 200 before it really took off up to about 381. And this was a pre-split was that move. But since the split, we've been on that downside here. Definitely looking like we should hold at this point where we're at, and then take advantage of the market from there. Again, same thing with the trend line. Top to bottom, higher lows, higher lows, higher lows. So again, we're right here. If you can afford a 250 call, that'll be something nice to see because they may have a little momentum bounce here, but I'm gonna be paying attention to it. I might do a lotto. Anybody else? And this is the bottom. I mean, again, this is the bottom for Tesla. All right, you guys. Y'all enjoy y'all week. Y'all be safe. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask. Pay attention to the watch list. Please open up, ask questions. If you have concerns about things, ask questions. There's a lot of opportunity in the market. No matter what happens, there's an opportunity every day to make some money. It's all about how you're looking at it, how you're setting up your charts, and how you going about it. So pay attention to watch list. I know those guys been going crazy. I'm not trying to overload everything. I'm just trying to, you guys can pick up here and there or ask me a question and I'll chime in. So stay blessed, y'all. Have a good one.
You too, brother.
Yeah.
You too. Thank you.
All love.